These can be great educational resources that you automate and templatize throughout the entire sales process. And again, thinking about education as a way to increase your authority and your trust through the sales process. Hey, welcome back to Builder Funnel TV. In today's video, we are going to talk about 7 marketing automation tips for your construction business. So right now, the industry is swamped. I was actually just reading a Twitter thread this morning, basically outlining a bunch of builders talking about supply chain issues, delays on trusses and windows and paint, and there's theft on lumber and all this crazy stuff happening. So I know right now time is more precious than it ever was, even though time is always a limited resource. Right now it feels extra limited. So in today's video, I want to walk through a few automation tips and strategies and kind of use cases that you can use in both the marketing and the sales process that will save you time. And a lot of these are set them up once and then they're just going to run, and so they'll just compound week over week, month over month in saving you that time. So a little bit of time up front, but then lots of time savings in the future. So let's dive into these 7. So the first one is following up on what we call top of the funnel leads. Now, if you're new here, you might want to go back and explore some of our past videos that talk about top of the funnel leads. But if you have been following for a while, then that could be something like a free resource or a free guide. Somebody comes to your website and they download something. So a lot of times we can follow up with those people manually and kind of one-off. But through automation, we can set trigger points. So we can say, hey, if this person downloads a kitchen design guide, I want them to go into an email sequence, maybe 3 to 5 emails long over 2 weeks. And each one of those emails is going to be some more information on kitchens, which is the topic that they downloaded something on. So we might have, the first email go out and link them to something about the process and what that looks like. The next email might educate them on cost ranges. The next email might be around some design trends or link into some portfolio pages so they can get inspired and kind of thinking about what they want for their kitchen. And then we slowly move them towards, hey, we've been sending you some great information on kitchen remodeling. If you want to explore this project further, go ahead and click here to book some time. So the whole concept here is we take somebody that's in research mode and we're going to deliver them customized, personalized information based on what they were researching, and then lead them down to the sales process where they're actually going to talk about a project. But all of that can be happening automatically in the back end with dozens, if not hundreds of leads over time, and then some of them just start flowing into the sales process. So that is a great automation tool. All right, so the next one is following up with inactive leads. So this is a great one too, because a lot of times people will hit our website, they might go through some automation like that, and then over time they might start getting your newsletter. And then they stop opening, they stop clicking, they stop visiting the website, and they kind of become, inactive. They're not really paying attention, but they're still on the list. So this is a great time to trigger what we would call, kind of like a re-engagement email. And so this could be something with a very catchy subject line, and then it says basically the context of the email is, hey, you're not, opening and clicking our stuff. Are you still researching this project? If you want, I can take you off the list, basically offering to move them out if they're not really interested. But a lot of times what I find is when you send this type of email, it looks very personalized. It could be coming directly from the owner or somebody on the team. And it basically looks like a personal reach out to say, hey, it looks like we're not helping you, or maybe you're not interested in this project anymore. What can I do to help? And a lot of times, because it looks so personal, and if you use a really good subject line there, they will open it, they will click it, and they will reply to it and say, oh no, I'm just probably next year for this project, didn't work out this year, we're still saving up, or whatever the reason was. But a lot of times you will get a response, and that is a great way to kind of drum up old business and kind of confirm new opportunities, or confirm, hey, yeah, they're really just not a good fit, and then get them off the list because we don't need to mess with our open and click rates and all the email data there. So that is a re-engagement email, and it's great for following up with those inactive leads. And again, that can happen automatically based on trigger points, which is, hey, somebody has not visited the website in 3 months or 6 months. They haven't opened and clicked any emails in 3 months. Okay, let's trigger this type of an email. Number 3, so this is when somebody books a meeting with you, then you can trigger a follow-up email. So a lot of times what happens when somebody books a meeting with you is that you go, okay, great, now I've got to send them an email to maybe confirm, the date and the time, or you're gonna send the agenda out, or whatever it is. Whatever those steps are that you're doing, turn that into a template, and then that can be the automatic follow-up. So somebody books an initial exploratory meeting with you or somebody on your team for, say, a pre-qualification call. Great, trigger an automatic email that says, hey, we've got you confirmed for this date and time, and here's the agenda. It's a 15-minute call. Here's what to expect. We're going to ask you some questions around your project, et cetera, so that person can be ready. And then, boom, now they've got all that information. It's super professional. It tells them exactly what to expect, but you've automated that. And you can apply that to any meeting in your sales process. And again, just think about that follow-up that normally you or somebody on your team is manually writing each and every time. Automate it and move on. All right, number 4, this is called warm lead alerts. Now this may not be at the top of your list right now, but it's a great thing to put in place. And this is, again, if we look at that first example where somebody's downloading something on your website, and then maybe they're getting your newsletter every month and they're periodically coming back to the site. You can set up some trigger points based on a set of criteria that will alert you to the warmest leads. So the people that are always on your site, they're really active. And so typically this might look like, hey, this person has visited the website 4 or more times. Not 4 or more pages, but they've come back on 4 separate occasions to the website. Plus, they've opened and clicked at least 5 emails. So they're super engaged with everything that you have going on. And then you can actually set it to specific pages on your website. So you could say, and they've visited 2 portfolio pages and the About Us page. If they've done all of those things, quick, send an alert to my sales team, whether that's the owner or somebody in a sales role, and say, this is a warm lead. You might want to personally reach out to them. And again, this could be a personal outreach, which I like in this case because you can contextualize based on the activity that they've done, what you include in that email and that outreach. But you could also automate it. You could just say, hey, if somebody meets these criteria, send this email, and you could create a template for that. Again, that's up to you depending on how busy you are and what kind of experience you want to deliver. But sometimes you can look at all their activity and then send a really nice email. So maybe a templated email that you just customize and send is a little bit better experience. But that's the trade-off with automation. You're always balancing personalization and customization versus time savings. So that is a great one. That is called warm lead alerts. All right. So number 5 is when somebody converts into a customer. So one of the most powerful things we can do in marketing is get testimonials and reviews when we have completed projects and happy customers. So in your CRM or marketing tool or sales tool, whatever you're using, when you convert somebody from a lead to somebody that's working on a project and then they are converted to a customer, you can do this either kind of midway through the project when you know they're really happy, or just wait till the end and you can mark them as completed customer. Then you can trigger a follow-up that will send them to leave a review. And again, this is a step that I think gets missed a lot, and so it can be really nice to automate this, and you can include maybe something that you'll do for them if they leave you a review, or just say, hey, I know timing-wise when I mark them as completed customer, this is going to go out, they're going to be happy, and I know they're more likely to leave that review. And you can just craft that as a template and a trigger point based on marking them in the system. So that is a nice simple way to increase your reviews and save some time there. Number 6, this is automatic reminders for the sales team. So this is great if you're following up with leads. So a lot of times if you reach out to people that have hit the website, or they call in, you book a meeting, and then they disappear, what you can do is create, again, trigger points based on people being inactive. So if they don't reply to emails in a couple of weeks, they're not revisiting the website, then you can auto-create reminders that will tell, hey, you in sales, this person, they called in, they hit this stage, but they haven't replied. Like, you need to follow up with them again, because a lot of business gets lost just due to lack of follow-up. So people enter the sales process and then they exit because they go MIA, but most likely they were just researching, trying to get a little bit of information. They didn't want to tell you we're not ready now, so they kind of disappear behind the scenes. And this could be for weeks, it could be for months, and sometimes it's for years. And so having those automatic reminders going to somebody in sales to just periodically reach out, maybe send links to blog posts or re-engage them, tell them about an award you won or back to some new projects that you completed. All those things can be great excuses to reach out, but it's really nice to have those reminders. Otherwise, you just build this big list of leads that have disappeared and you just think, they were junk leads. Most likely there's a lot of business to be won in those old leads that started the sales process and then left. So that is a great one to set those automatic reminders to sales to follow up. All right, and then finally, this one is basically when somebody converts into a customer at the beginning of the stage, you can actually trigger educational pieces. So this will help build tons of trust and authority and create a great experience for your customer. So if somebody goes through the qualification call and then they say book a introductory in-person meeting, what you can do is as soon as you set them as, okay, the meeting is scheduled, it can set out 1 or 2 emails that's basically going to educate them on what they should expect at that meeting, what the process looks like, maybe a few things that they want to look at in terms of resources before that meeting, whether it's pages on your website, blog posts that you've written, projects on your website. But that can be educational material leading up to that meeting. And then you can do that at every single meeting. Here's what to expect for the design phase in the design meeting. Like, here's what our process looks like. Here's what you need to be thinking about. Here are some design trends. And then you can always customize it too if you want based on what you've learned. But these can be great educational resources that you automate and templatize throughout the entire sales process. And again, thinking about education as a way to increase your authority and your trust through the sales process. And then when this person converts all the way to a customer and they make it all the way to the end, that is part of their experience and part of improving their experience in what leads to that positive customer review at the end of the day. So there you have it. There are 7 very specific use cases for automation, things that you can set up once and then let them run, and you will save dozens and dozens of hours over time. All right, guys, we'll see you next time here on Builder Funnel TV.